Hey guys, welcome to week one of MGF 3684 Business Strategy. My name is Andy Kavanagh and I'll be taking your online lecture content, certainly for the next 6 weeks or so of the semester. Today is obviously the very first lecture and we're going to be going through basically what the unit involves, some of the housekeeping issues that we need to cover, as well as what we actually mean by strategy and some of the things that you will be covering over the duration of the next 12 weeks. Alright, so for this particular semester, the Chief Examiner of this unit is Dr. Sarah Lindsay. She's located at the Caulfield campus, here on campus, on level 5, and you can go and see her in her office or email or contact her via her phone number as listed on the screen in front of you. I am also the unit coordinator for this unit this semester, located up on level 7 of the same building, Building N at Caulfield campus. My phone number and again email are listed there. So if you do have any questions, certainly major issues, certainly direct those to Sarah as the Chief Examiner, but I'm also available for any concerns or requests you may have. In terms of your workshop facilitators for this unit, here at Caulfield, we'll have 3 that will be taking the workshops during this semester. Both Sarah and myself will be taking a few of those workshops, and also Kendall Herbert, who's recently completed her PhD here and is an excellent teacher. Between the 3 of us, we will be covering the workshops at Caulfield. In terms of any questions that you may have during this semester, our general advice is to speak to your workshop facilitator first, whether that be either Sarah, Kendall, or myself. If they are not able, or we are not able to sufficiently answer your question, then it is recommended that, especially if it's coursework related, speak to the lecturer, whether it's either Sarah or myself, and then again, if that does still not satisfy your issues that you're raising, then your third option is to speak to the Chief Examiner. So that's the general procedure that we encourage you guys to follow should you have any issues, questions, or concerns during the semester. Alright, before we get into some housekeeping issues, I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an introduction to myself so you know who is this guy who will be speaking to you over the next 6 weeks or so. So some of you may be sitting here at the moment coming into perhaps your final year of a management related major or degree and still may not be sure about where that may lead you or some of the options that you may be presented. The good thing about management is it is so broad and there are so many potential paths that it may lead you down. Certainly I completed a double degree in my undergraduate studies of management and marketing, and then went on to go and pursue an honours degree in management before completing my PhD within the broad discipline of management, and more specifically looking at international business. And as I say, there are so many different options that within management that you can take up, and certainly either myself, Sarah, or Kendall will be very happy to chat to you about some of those, with all of us having gone down and completed a number of degrees within the management field. In terms of my own research areas, as I say, IB and strategy are my 2 areas of specialty, and certainly my passions and interests lie within those 2 areas. And you'll probably, unfortunately, look, I may as well apologise in advance, between my Mustang, my band West Berlin, and my love of the St Kilda Football Club, you'll probably be hearing a fair bit about those 3 particular items throughout the next 6 weeks. So I'll apologise in advance if I do them to death. Alright, in terms of the learning outcomes for this unit this semester, there are 4 that we've listed here that we would like you guys to be able to demonstrate or achieve by the end of this semester or the completion of this unit. First of all, we'd love for you guys to be able to explain and apply the core concepts of biz strategy. What does that actually mean and how can you actually put those into use, especially with regards to real life examples that you will be encountering once you go out into the workforce. Secondly, we'd like you to be able to analyze and evaluate the influence of key contextual variables on a business's strategy. So what are the sorts of things that you guys as managers will have to deal with when you go out into the workforce and actually contribute towards the strategy of your particular business. Thirdly, applying and critically appraising business strategy formulation, implementation, and evaluating the concepts and the relationships between them. So we're going to be encouraging you to understand not just what is strategy, but also the different parts of this process by which it may be developed and then actually put into place. And further down the line, also re-evaluated to assess how well or poorly our strategy is performing. Finally, we would like you guys to be able to illustrate and judge future directions and trends for forming, implementing, and evaluating business strategies. So when you guys do go out and get a job, you're aware of not only what strategy is now, but what it will mean in the future. Some of these key contemporary issues that you guys will be very well placed to deal with on behalf of your business. All right, in terms of the way that we have structured and will run this particular unit, there is no in-person, or there are rather, no in-person lectures, as you no doubt will have already found out. So the weekly lecture content is all available on the Moodle site. And don't look for any lecture theatres where I may be talking. It will be all online and made available to you there. So each of the weekly lecture content will be available on the Friday before the corresponding week. So the week 5 materials will all be up by the Friday of week 4. There's also important reading materials that we'll be putting up on the Moodle for you, whether that's in regards to your assessments or general information relating to that particular week's topic. That will also be provided for you. Attending workshops is an absolute must. There is no participation and attendance marks that are given for attending your workshops, but we, having done this now for a number of years, this particular unit, it's become very clear to myself and Sarah that those who do not regularly attend their workshops are generally those who are performing more poorly in this unit and potentially failing the unit. So we don't want that from you guys. We want you guys to be absolutely smashing your results for this unit. So attending your workshops is definitely the first step on the path to going well in this unit. Assignment hints are also given in the workshops. If you speak, when you actually attend your classes, whether it's Kendall, myself, or Sarah, we will be giving you hints as to how you can perform well in the particular assessment. So it's in your best interest to be there so that you can hear those hints that we give you. All right, in terms of the workshops themselves, first of all, they do begin in week 1. Don't assume that they are, as with some units, that there are no classes in week 1. There definitely are for business strategy, so we'd like you to be attending those. It may not quite be Channing Tatum, I should say, in 21 Jump Street, but they will be very useful and hopefully a lot of fun for you. In the first week of classes, first of all, we will be getting to know one another. That is very important, not just so that you can get an understanding of who you will be working with this semester, but also so that you can be better placed to form your groups for the group presentation assessment, which is one of the key forms of assessment in the unit. We also will be going over the key concepts for your first assessment task, being that presentation. So it's very important for that particular assessment that you do attend your workshop so that you're well placed to get a high grade in them. Alright, so in terms of the reading list for this unit, the first thing to note here is that there is no single required textbook for this unit. Now we think this is a great thing. It means you can save your money and spend it on much more important things like puppies and alcohol. But it's also good because it means that you're not restricted to a single publication in terms of your source of information. You'll note that once you have a look at the reading list for this unit, we actually provide a selection of the best and most appropriate chapters from a range of different sources and in particular textbooks that we feel best fits the unit and is the most appropriate in terms of trying to teach the key issues and topics that we're looking at in this unit. So you can save the money there and also hopefully get the best experience in terms of the best sources of information. All the readings have been selected especially for each week's topic as part of the reading list and can be used as source material for your assessment tasks. So this is really important. We literally provide a range of relevant peer-reviewed academic journal articles that you can use as some of the key required materials in your assessments. The better you understand the readings, the more you will then be able to get to the workshops, and in turn the easier your assessments will become. Here's a range of some useful websites that you might want to look at, especially in terms of touching up on your referencing and also using the workshop system in the library. I promise you, you will find it more useful than our friend Grumpy Cat did. Finally, for our first little video here, in terms of the key assessment items for this unit, there are three main categories of assessments that we use in this unit. The first is a presentation, which in total is worth 40% of the mark for the unit. There are two parts to this assessment. The first is a group video presentation, where we require you, as part of a group, to actually record a video that answers a series of case study questions. The case study will be provided to you in the unit guide for the unit. So you'll be required to first develop a video, and then secondly also engage in individual, as opposed to group, which is the video presentation component, individually conduct peer and self-assessments of the group members' performance in your group. So you're assessing how well you performed, but also how well your group members performed. Now, those two components of this assessment, as I say, do combine to add up to 40% of the total score for the unit. There are also two in-class tests, each of which will be worth 10%, so obviously 20% altogether. These will be held in the tutorial, or the workshops rather, in weeks 4 and 10, so an extra reason to ensure that you are in your workshops in those 2 weeks. And they will be each made up of 10 multiple choice questions. That is basically designed to ensure that you are keeping up at those strategically chosen weeks 4 and 10, to ensure that you're keeping up with the material and better position you to do well in the other assessments, being the presentation. And the final assessment item, which is a strategic business plan report. Now again, this is worth 40% of your total score for the unit. It's due at the end of week 12, so the Sunday of week 12, the very end of the semester. It is a 2,400 word report, and you'll be given a selection of companies from which you choose one and prepare a strategic business plan report that addresses 3 key questions that we've prepared for you. Now, more information about these particular assessment items will be given to you in your workshops in week 1. So again, please make sure that you are attending those as scheduled.